Welcome back to the 5 Napkin Burger Beer and Bourbon blog, featuring us, the Happy Hour guys. We've traveled thousands of miles to ask this question. What is bourbon?
What is bourbon?
What is bourbon? Well, we were curious, so we came to the source. Yes, indeed, we did. With the assistance of 5 Napkin Burger, we traveled all the way out to Bardstown, Kentucky, in the middle of Bourbon Country to get some answers. So what we're learning is bourbon is the most American of spirits. What is bourbon?
Okay, bourbon can be made anywhere in the United States, and more than 95% is made here in Kentucky.
As a matter of fact, on this recent trip to Kentucky, Mark and I studied the entire process of bourbon making and were introduced to the bewildering array of spirits that exist out there. And we're going to bring some of that knowledge and great taste to you guys. So let's get started. Bourbon is a distilled, aged brown spirit. It's long been associated with the state of Kentucky, but it can be distilled anywhere. The history of bourbon is, no pun intended, somewhat cloudy, but we do know that Americans have been distilling for over 200 years. Heck, even George Washington made whiskey. Bourbon is made from a combination of grains, water, and yeast. And by law, yes, there is a law, that grain mixture must be at least 51% corn. By the way, this is what bourbon looks like right after it's been distilled. It doesn't turn that amber color until it spends some time maturing in the wood. So this is what the old-timers call white dog. Bourbon has to be distilled to a certain percentage of alcohol, matured in a brand new oak barrel that's been charred on the inside, and then bottled at no less than 80 proof, or 40% alcohol.
And I think the most important of the requirements is the flavor cannot be adulterated anyway. Everything's 100% natural.
How big is the bourbon industry? One word, huge. In 2010, the value of all the bourbon barrels aging in Kentucky was $1.5 billion. So are you ready to dig deeper? And by dig deeper, we mean taste. So are we. Check out our next episode on tasting bourbon, hosted by none other than the great-grandson of Jim Beam himself.
It's true that bourbon is uniquely American. It doesn't have to be made in Kentucky, but it does have to be made in America. In fact, in 1964, the U.S. Congress decreed that bourbon is the American native spirit. But what we've learned as we've explored Bourbon Country is that bourbon is much more than the sum of its parts, more than decrees and rules. Bourbon is about tradition and family and heritage and friendship.
So join us as we explore the world of bourbon together, both in Kentucky and at 5 Napkin Burger.
We think you're going to make as many surprising discoveries as we did. Cheers.
So we'll see you guys next time. And by see you next time, I mean, I'm gonna go drink some bourbon now.